Hi, this is Dana Gottesfeld. Today we had Marty's hearing. The judge called a hearing to discuss Marty's 100-page motion to request new counsel, as well as to address some of the mistakes about one of the recent filings of this case. At the beginning of the hearing, when Marty came out, I held up these signs, these pictures. This was Justina before she went into Boston Children's Hospital. You can see she is a healthy, cute, adorable young teenage girl. And then this was her time at Boston Children's Hospital. You can see her hairline has receded. She's now in a wheelchair. Before she went in, she was figure skating. And you can just see the overall decline in her health. We held these up, and then I held these up, and then Marty made a statement to his prosecutors. He asked them if they were ashamed of themselves. He asked them to look back and take a look at what they were defending by not investigating and prosecuting, and instead, going after him. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember the exact line, but that was pretty much the point. I was then asked to leave, so I had to step out. I talked to the marshals, but then they let me back in. And what's happening here is the U.S. Attorney's Office is ignoring their UN obligation under to investigate, prosecute, and punish torture. Justina was held by the state, by the Department of Children and Families, and Boston Children's Hospital for over a year in a psych ward, where she went from a wonderful figure skater to never being able to walk again. She was in constant pain and agony that whole time. Marty and the U.S. Attorney's Office is not even going to investigate. On the other hand, Marty is alleged to have knocked the hospital off the internet. The example would be by allegedly sending too much traffic to their website. So that's the equivalent of showing up to McDonald's with 200 people. So it kind of affects service, but no one's getting hurt, and it's a temporary problem. And so we're trying to make that point. They want Marty to spend 15 years in federal prison, up to 15 years, and over $1 million in fines and restitution to Boston Children's Hospital. Side by side with this is what's happening to Justina Pelletier. It's a huge miscarriage of justice, and there's really no way to defend it. Not even an investigation, just really, to me, puts the nail in the coffin of a lot of corruption from holdovers at the DOJ and the prosecutors on this case. Now, this is Boston, this is Harvard, and you may know people that go to school together kind of have a brotherhood. So David Diadio, Marty's prosecutor, as well as Adam Bookbinder, both are Harvard grads. I think Harvard Law School. And Marty's prosecutor, Marianne Bowler, she used to work at Harvard Medical School. Now that's significant because Boston Children's Hospital is a teaching affiliate. It's the pediatric teaching affiliate for Harvard Medical School. So she used to work at Harvard Medical School. Her husband still works there. And actually she has smoking gun financial ties to one of the places that tortured Justina. So Judge Marianne Bowler is a director emeritus at the Boston Foundation. The Boston Foundation has raised money for Wayside Youth and Family, the second place Justina was taken to under Boston Children's Hospital treatment plan, and she hasn't recused herself from the case. Other judges have recused themselves for less. We find this to be a huge conflict of interest, and certainly casts a shadow of a doubt on her ability to remain impartial and not emotionally invested, considering she's also financially invested, and there's documentation to draw those connections. So this is just a reminder, if you're just learning about the case, this John Moakley Federal Courthouse in Boston is the old stomping grounds for Carmen Ortiz. That name may sound familiar. Carmen Ortiz is the U.S. attorney under Obama who overzealously prosecuted Aaron Swartz until he committed suicide. Um, over 61,000 people signed a petition to remove her from office. Steve Heyman, who was the prosecutor on Aaron Swartz's case, also still works here. I saw his name on the docket today for another judge. So we have a lot of corruption going on, a lot of bad people who are interested in overusing the letter of the law to go after things that really should not be considered crimes. Now Carmen Ortiz stepped down when Trump took office, and now it's run by her counsel at the time, an acting U.S. attorney, William Weinreb, who's following in her footsteps and is, for all effects, the same. So that's kind of a recap of the court. We left, and Marty made a statement at the end of his hearing via phone, via somebody else, and I will attach the audio as best I can at the end of this. Got cut off because the phones get shut off. But when Marty came out, and after I made my statement, Marty was just like, Adam Bookbinder would even look back. Marty's like, look back at the girl, look back at Justina's pictures about what you're protecting. And Adam or David wouldn't look back. They were too ashamed. So I'll keep you updated, and that's the latest here. Marty was granted due counsel. We'll find out more about that, and I'll keep you updated. Thanks for watching.
I am Marty's unnamed inmate spokesperson. I have two brief statements to read from Marty, one of which you should have just heard in the courtroom. I won't be taking any questions today, but Marty asked me to let you know that he looks forward to calling Dana as soon as he can, and he would be happy to answer any questions you have at that time. He also wanted me to tell you that he may be moved to Walpole tonight, since it would allow Adam Bookbinder to hold him incommunicado until Monday, the earliest point at which he has his phone account could be activated. If the media does not hear from him by 7 p.m. this evening, Marty requests that you call the U.S. Marshals Operations Supervisor and inquire as to his whereabouts and communications or availability. He also asks for the free Marty G community to hold vigil online. Now, here is what Marty said, or tried to say, in court. He encourages you to inquire with Christine Sterling of the U.S. Attorney's Office for a comment. Mr. Bookbinder, look at Justina. Can you even look at her? Do you think President Trump will let you protect the fraudsters who billed Medicaid to kidnap her? Can you sleep at night knowing the people who brought your soul tortured her for over a year and left her in that wheelchair? Have you no shame, sir? No decency? You disgust me, Mr. Bookbinder. You're a corrupt, heartless crook from an office full of corrupt, heartless crooks. Marty also asked me to read you the following statement he prepared in anticipation of this morning's events. My basis for calling the doctors who took Justina away from her loving family, quote, fraudsters, quote, is simple. At some point, even they had to have realized that their psychological diagnosis was wrong. Yet, even knowing that, they continued to bill Medicaid hundreds of thousands of dollars to treat Justina for it. This is federal health care fraud, and the decisions by the Carmen Ortiz, followed by William Weinreb not to prosecute that, or the numerous civil rights violations perpetrated against the Pelletiers, speaks volumes, especially given their unfortunate decisions to pursue more tenuous fraud and racketeering cases, including the probation office case and the recent Top Chef case, both of which they lost at tremendous taxpayer expense. I asked the media to examine Exhibits A and B from my recent motion, as well as the corresponding articles from Red State and the Daily Wire, to which Dana can direct you. For more background on why I say the people who tortured Justina bought Adam Bookbinder's soul in order to get him to pursue this case in tandem with a heavily conflicted U.S. magistrate judge named Marianne Bowler. Together they have pulled the strings behind the scenes of a rigid system in federal court. They never should have been entrusted with such power, and if others with a stronger moral compass and fewer compromising entanglements had been chosen instead, then Aaron Schwartz would still be involved, and Justina Pelletier will still be figure skating. I know that these shifty spineless thugs will not evade detection forever. I look forward to rejoining my darling wife Dana, who has faced down threats like no spouse should ever have to be confronted with, in a situation that never should have been allowed to go on for so long. Our many thanks go to our many supporters who are growing in number at freedomartyg.com. This concludes my statement today as Marty's inmate spokesperson, and again, I direct all questions to Dana and to Marty when he's able to speak. Thank you.